Today I wanted to share what I've learned from Reiki and energy healing. I have been practicing it for almost 10 years now, and I was recently on a plane traveling, and whenever I'm on a plane, I always get really reflective. And I started thinking about energy healing and just my journey. It sounds like The Bachelor, my journey, but whatever, my journey. And I wanted to share it with you in case you're curious or you just wanted to hear about someone else's experience. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is how important daily practices are. And this could be daily hands-on energy healing practice, but it's really any kind of self-care and wellness spiritual practice. I feel like for me, it keeps me aligned and in flow, and it also builds stamina so that when something challenging does come up, you kind of have reserves that you can build on, and it makes it easier to deal with anything that comes my way. For me, I don't do the same thing every day because I get really bored, but often I'll do hands-on healing before bed because it helps me fall asleep, and I do that while I'm in bed. I'll do aura cleansing, especially when I've been outside in a crowd around other people. I have an infrared mat and I love laying on it. It is so good. The second I lay on it, my nervous system, I swear, it resets, and I am the calmest person you will ever meet. My cats also love it, so sometimes I have to put up a fight to get on it. Some other things that I like to do are taking baths or doing meditative walks, anything where I am in my body and just really, really present. If you are an energy healer or you're an intuitive or anything like that, you can only help others as much as you are supporting yourself and helping yourself. So it is so important to give yourself a daily practice and make sure that your cup is full so that you can pour into someone else's cup. All right, another thing. By the way, I have these written down in a notebook, so you don't care, do you? I don't know why I'm talking about that. Anyway, this was such a big one. When I feel bad, it's not me. That is not me. That feeling, that depression, that anger, it is literally not me. And that means it's temporary and it can shift. One huge realization that I had was that my whole life, up until, I was a certain age, obviously, I thought that I hated myself. But once I started doing energy healing and understanding energy, I realized that I didn't hate myself. I hated what I was feeling. I just thought it was me. Sometimes I'll still feel something and forget it's not me, it'll consume me, but I have the awareness in general that it's not me, and so I use my tools and my practice to remind myself that I am not my emotions, I am not what I feel, and it's all temporary. I have gotten into the practice of just looking at it hey, this is energy. This anger, it's just energy. This anxiety, it's energy. Sadness, it's energy. It may be energy I don't like, energy I don't want to feel, but it's just energy. And because of my practice, I know that I can use my hands, I can use other techniques to support myself in shifting and transforming that energy. For me, having creativity involved in my spiritual practice is so necessary. I love creating card decks. I love getting creative with what I'm going to plan out for my practice. I love writing my own tapping scripts. I love painting my emotions and transforming the energy in that way. When I'm creative, it lightens everything, and I don't like to necessarily be like serious all the time and be like, I am healing this. Like, I want to laugh. I want to have fun. And sometimes being playful, that is the thing that will help you shift energy. If creativity isn't that for you, think about an activity or whatever brings you purpose and meaning when you do it, and something that uplifts you, and see if you can incorporate it into your spiritual practice some way. Going back to the daily practice, if you make it fun, if your practice is something that you look forward to, then it helps you stick with it and it doesn't seem like a chore or another thing to do. It really is something that is fun and helpful. Another thing that I learned that I think is so cool is that every healer, energy healer, intuitive readers, like everyone is so different. Like you can have two people learn the same modality, but their essence, what they bring, is so unique to them that they end up putting their own spin on it and doing things in a different way. If you're learning energy healing or anything like that, I would recommend learning it and hearing what people have to say, but really sit with yourself and practice and see what comes naturally to you, what gifts you have, and don't be so rigid in like, I have to do it this way, I must do it this way. Especially if your instincts or like your intuition is telling you to try something different, just try it. Like it may work, it may not, it doesn't matter. Just experiment to see what works for you and to help you develop your own style. Just like handwriting. Yes, we all learn how to write A, B, C, blah, 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 but we all write it in our own unique way. It's not like we're all writing the same font. And that's how I look at energy healing too. We learn the technique, we learn the context, we learn the backstory, but then I just think it would be a disservice to the world if we didn't put our own spin on it and use our own gifts and intuition to personalize what we're doing. So I always say experiment, because you're unique and what you can do, literally no one else can. Another thing that I was thinking about was intention and how powerful it is. Not only in energy healing, but just in our lives in general. Like, what's our motive? What's our intention? That is literally shaping everything around us. It's impacting our actions, our behaviors, what we're thinking, how we're interacting with others. And so our intention really sets the tone for everything. During energy healing, I don't know why I'm like pointing. I need to calm down. Your intention, it sets the tone for everything. So when you're doing self-healing, really be clear on what your intention is and then let go and allow the energy to do the rest. And remember, whatever you put out, that always comes back to you. It may not be immediate, it may not be in the same form, but it always does. So the more that you can focus on putting good energy out there, wishing good things for yourself and others, the more that will come back to you too. The next lesson I love, because it's like really good, it is that miracles can be a normal part of your life. When I first learned Reiki, I didn't believe that. I didn't feel that. Things weren't that great. I took a risk on doing it. I didn't know if it was gonna work, but I just believed that that kind of miracle was possible. Like I could use my hands to heal myself. And what ended up happening was that became true. I saw so many miracles in my life. I felt this huge surge of positive energy, and I just knew I could do anything. Anything could happen and anything was possible. For me now, when I don't feel that, or when I don't feel like I'm in the flow of life, I know that my thoughts are telling a story that is the opposite of miracles are a normal part of my life. And I check it. I do tapping to like get rid of those limiting beliefs. I do hands-on healing. I do meditation. I do yoga. Like whatever I need to do to snap me out of it, I do it. I mean, I'm like thinking like, well, last week you were in like a little bit of a slump and you didn't do anything. You just laid on the couch, and that's true. But eventually I did. So, yeah. Reflecting has helped me in 2 ways. One, I feel like whenever I reflect, I usually end up changing my perspective or getting really clear on what my perspective is. And for me, as Libra, sometimes I can be indecisive, but when I spend time alone and I reflect, I am so clear and I'm grounded. Another thing that reflecting does is it helps me to see trends or patterns or behaviors. And it also helps me see my progress. Like sometimes, especially in my practice, like I'll be like, oh my God, here we go again. I thought I healed this. I thought I dealt with this thing from my childhood, but it's back. And I feel like I'm just like stuck, or I'm doing something wrong, or like that's when a bunch of stories happen. But when I am reflecting, it's like, oh no, like you really understood this part, and now this part of that situation is coming up. So it's like clarity, understanding. It just helps me see things that I might otherwise miss. And finally, it's not the last thing that I learned, but it's the last thing that I'll share in here. It's that I would say everyone has their own tools and modalities that are going to work for them. When I first started Reiki and energy healing, or I got a past life regression, or I was like doing all of these metaphysical things, like I wanted everyone in my life to do it too, because I saw such a huge impact from it. And I was just like, oh, you have this issue. This is going to help you. This is really going to help you. You need to do this. And I feel like I annoyed some people because they really did not want to do it. They just didn't. In my brain, I did think like, what are you doing? You should be doing this. Now I am more open. Like, if you don't want to do it, maybe exercise is your thing, or maybe like reading a book is your thing, or maybe doing like something totally different, not in the metaphysical space, is really what you need. Like, no matter how much it works for me, that doesn't mean that everyone has to do exactly what I'm doing. But if you're someone who wants to, like, I will tell you everything and I will give you all of the recommendations. So that is my spiel on what I've learned from Reiki and energy healing. If you have questions, or you're curious about anything, or you want to share what you've learned, I would love to hear it, because I just think we can all learn from each other. So definitely share that in the comments too. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you want more resources on energy healing and self-healing and doing hands-on healing, I have a Patreon where I share some things, and I also have a self-healing course that you can sign up for, and I'll put both of those links in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I have no idea how long this video is at this point, but if you stuck with it this far, thank you so much, and I will see you next time.